from the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is AC's Conversations. AC's Conversations is about sports, music, TV, movies, and more.
It's everything and more.
Everything is ready to go.
That include the latest news and rumors, along with interviews with the biggest names in sports and entertainment. This is AC's Conversations with your host, News 8 Sports Director.
The man is the real deal.
Let's go to work, fella.
Anthony Calhoun.
Hi, everybody. Anthony Calhoun here. Welcome to AC's Conversations, part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. And coming up on this edition, we're going to change a little gears. Usually we're talking about sports, but I want to bring you inside something that's very dear to my heart, and that is my charity golf outing that I do every year that raises money for inner city youth for education. And the beneficiary is Teachers Treasures. And today we got a special guest, Margaret Sheehan, who is the executive director of Teachers Treasures. And I want you to just sit back, relax, and learn more about this organization that is changing a lot of lives. Well, you know we usually talk about sports here on AC's Conversations, but we're changing things up this edition, all a part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Anybody who knows me knows that obviously I love my job, but I also, folks that know me, is that I'm a big believer in giving back. And over the years, I've been able to raise over $2 million for inner city kids when it comes to education through my golf outing, the AC Golf Classic. And the beneficiary of that has been Teachers Treasures. And so I want to welcome in to AC's Conversations, the executive director of Teachers Treasures, my good friend, Margaret Sheehan.
A really good friend.
I always get the name I kind of jack that name up sometimes.
Well,
you know how it is.
it goes all over.
Sheehan.
I'll take it all.
Yeah, but hey, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
You know, every year we do this event in June, the day after Father's Day, and every year it seems like it gets better and better. This year was our best year ever. Raised over $330,000 for these kids.
Crayons.
A lot of crayons. That's right. Put in perspective, like what numbers like that, money like that means for these kids as school gets underway soon, and also these teachers.
Well, so Teachers Treasures is a free store here in Indianapolis that serves Marion County teachers that work with those kids. Those schools that are, it's kind of high level of the free and reduced lunch. That means it's an indicator of need. And so those are our kids. Those are our schools. Those are our teachers. And so, as you may know, lots of teachers spend a lot of their own money on making sure those kids have those tools that they need and that they come to school proud and confident that they can do well in the classroom. And so it's really beyond the pencil. It's really beyond the crayon and all that. It really... You know, we all want, and all the folks that support your outing want those kids to do well. They want them to become great citizens and future business persons or, future teachers, future athletes, whatever. And that's extraordinary. I think that's a whole other part of the conversation is the takeaway for all of those golfers, that story, what they're learning about, what you're teaching them, I think. So, the store that we actually have two locations.
Where are they located?
So we're in the Woodruff Place neighborhood. For those of you who are here in Indy, it's just due east of downtown and an up-and-coming area. But we're in a former Kroger building. They let us use that space. So it really does look like a true retail operation. And then we're also up on the northwest side, which is convenient right now at a middle school, an IPS school, Northwest Middle, due to all the construction and the craziness that's happening around downtown. And so teachers can access product from both of those places. They go shopping once a month. They can fill up their carts, and then they can go back to their classrooms. And so since back to school is recent for us, because of the golf outing, we're able to, first of all, get a lot of things purchased at back to school pricing, that loss leader. So, and we're buying a lot of stuff. And I just got a note today from a Carmel Walmart that they had excess, pallets of composition notebooks.
Wow,
and
pallets.
So because there's a little excess cash because of the golf outing, we can absolutely buy that stuff at 50 cents a piece and then be able to give more and more and more to the teachers. So it allows us to have some, small nonprofits to have that influx of cash, particularly in June, which is the end of our fiscal year. is extraordinary because it gives us a safety net to be able to make sure we have enough for the back to school.
So this is a store
Yep.
where teachers just come in
Yep.
who work in. It's got to be a certain school district, correct? Or a lot of these, it's got to be
So
a certain.
if they have to have 60% of their kids on free and reduced lunch.
Okay. Yeah.
So you'll hear the term Title I. That means
Yeah.
it's a high level of need. And we don't care if it's a private, public, charter. We don't discriminate in any
Okay,
extraordinary.
that's 60%.
It's about the child, and it's
Yeah.
about that school. And so pre-K to adult learners, we take care of the Excel programs here as well. Those are folks that are helping adults get their high school diploma. And so they're teaching, and they have less budgets than most of the schools do. So we really want to be able to help as many as we can.
And so school is underway for some school
Yeah.
districts already right now. And what is it like when those teachers come in there who, if anybody doesn't know this, but teachers spend about $1,000 of their own money
Yeah.
buying school supplies for students who may not be able to afford it. What is it like when those teachers come in there? Because I've been there before and I've
Yeah.
seen them grabbing things and,
Yeah.
got their, they're pushing carts out. But what's it like
Yeah.
for them to get the material?
Well, we were talking as a staff that this year, not post-COVID, but last year when the schools weren't open. So many of our teachers did not shop with us last year because they were concerned about being around others, and I really respect that. So many are coming back with our new protocols, which are, masks and dividers and routes and so on around the store. It is a very vibrant, positive environment for teachers because we're there. We're able to just be there
Yeah.
for them. And to your point, we really don't want them to spend that $1,000 on average. Then you think about this because teachers don't make a tremendous amount of money. So you think $1,000, that's got to be somebody's paycheck, those
Yeah.
entry-level
Yeah.
teachers. So we're serving a lot of new teachers and a lot of teachers that haven't been to the store. And quite frankly, it feels like Christmas a lot. They're like, wow, this is amazing. And they're
Yeah.
grabbing a lot of basic stuff, but we get a lot of things. For example, right now, don't quote me. I'm sorry, Casey's going to not. We have a tremendous amount of stuff left over from events, Final Four, for example. So all that stuff was sitting someplace, and our logistics manager, Casey Collins, has connection with Sports Corp, and they needed to direct it someplace. And so all of this, there's hats, and there's shirts, and there's swag and all of that type of stuff. That's now on our shelves for teachers to grab, and they can give that as prizes and so on for kids.
That's
How
great.
cool is that?
That's great.
It's
Of course,
so cool.
the NCAA tournament was here last year with the
Yep.
trying to navigate through COVID-19, and I think that is awesome. So we've been doing this. What year was this? Year 8 for us.
This was year 8.
Year 8 for us.
Yeah.
And ever since I changed the beneficiary of who we're going to give the money to, when we decided to do it with teachers, our numbers of fundraising has gone up year after year. And I truly believe it's because everyone remembers that one favorite teacher that they had,
Yep.
And for me, I had a lot of great teachers, but my favorite teacher growing up was Mrs. McWilliams back in Evansville, Lodge Elementary School. I was in first grade, and she knew I loved to talk. And look at me today doing
She got you where
She
you
got me
are
right. She got me
today.
right. But she had such an impact on my life at such a young age, and we continue to stay in touch. And to this day, I try to stay in touch with them the best I can. But I think what it is, people realize that there's that one teacher and how much education can change lives. Because it's like this, doesn't matter what color you are.
Right.
If you or what color you are, you're boy, girl, whatever.
Nothing, yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you're smart and you want to get education, the sky's the limit for you, right?
Yeah.
And I think people they realize that, hey, if you want to help somebody out, what better way to do it than education? Because we know if someone has education, how far they can go.
Yeah.
And so for me, doing this charity outing, this golf outing, and seeing Teachers Treasures get to become the benefits of that has blew my mind away. And just the support we get year in and year out. You've seen it firsthand.
And folks ask me about it all the time.
Yeah.
And, it's really back to your heart and, whatever drove you to make that decision. But it's countless numbers of people that are benefiting from countless numbers of kids, countless classrooms, because those funds allow us to have, I think, a very superior opportunity for teachers to feel supported by this community, by businesses, and the recognition, certainly with COVID, but before that as well. But I think COVID really highlighted holy crap, these teachers have a tough job.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a 9-month position. It is not an easy situation, and I think we have elevated that through certainly you to be able to do more and give more and help them more.
Yeah. So Alicia Johnson is my cousin, who is the superintendent of IPS schools, and she has spoken a couple of times at the charity golf outing, and I know how big her heart is for these young people. So Margaret, so what's next for Teachers Treasures? I mean, you guys are always doing stuff. You know, I know you combine with us here at Channel 8 with the Great Paper Push, which
Just
is
finished
huge.
it.
Just finished that up. So what's next for Teachers Treasures?
So that's great. I will tell you that there's a couple different things I would mention. One is that we're trying to expand, particularly when you have teachers that aren't getting out of school till 4:30. We're open until 6 p.m., and so it's a limiting situation. So how do we help? I'm going to use Perry Township, for example. It's a South Side circumstance, a tremendous amount of need, and we want to get down there. And so what's that look like for us to expand down there, whether we have pop-up stores or have a location there? The whole far east side, so from Warren, there's a little bit of IPS there as well on that border, and then the southern part of Lawrence Township. Those are awesome opportunities for us to expand and to make sure we're doing more for them. So stay tuned on that, because I think that's expansion. You know, we want to give more. It's really simple. We need to get more product to get to more teachers, and so that's where we're at for our strat plan. But the other thing that's really interesting that a lot of teachers are asking us for, and we talked about this deeply today, is diversity materials. We don't have a lot of things that, because again, we're not a bookstore per se, but we want to be able to be more intentional to have materials that could help, for example, even on the ESL, books that a child can pick up that has a child that looks like that child and tells that kind of story. And so those things are obviously very pertinent right now. And I think that's a real angle that we're going to be taking this year in grant funding, is to try to supply more of those types of items for schools that don't have that kind of funding that can build that kind of a diversity library. So I know those are unusual kinds of things, but getting more to more folks and then growing our opportunity to provide diversity materials is going to be other part.
So kind of put in perspective for us, you know, when someone says, "Hey, they raised $330,000," like what is that? What does that pay for? Like how much? Like I think you gave me an analogy one time. It was like, well, it was an analogy. You guys actually did it. You went to Walmart and got a 18-wheeler truck size.
Last year we did. We got 2 truckloads, 2 semi-loads.
Semi-loads,
Post AC's outing, and so that gives us 50,000 spiral notebooks. That gives us 30 or 40,000 composition notebooks, 50,000 boxes of crayons, 50,000 boxes of markers.
50,000?
So we're not messing around, because when I first met you, and I think our spend budget for product was 16,000, and now it's 275,000 because of you.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because of me, it's because of people giving back.
I'm just saying, you know,
so
it's about your community. It's about our community.
Really,
and I
that's
think
amazing.
it is extraordinary. It truly
So does
is.
that does that give you, puts you over for 2 years or 3 years, or
No.
how long could that go?
No, and that's a great question. And so what we have a small little warehouse. We do some off-site warehousing, and then our plan is to get rid of that in a year.
Oh, wow.
So we provide limits to the teachers. So, for example, the first week you could get 20 spiral notebooks, 20 composition notebooks, for example.
Yeah.
And then we'll get that down to a different limit, but this is kind of back to school. We
Yeah.
call it back, blowout kind of thing. So we'll store that, but then continue to whittle that down through the year. But it just assures us that we're going to have this stuff for the teachers all year long.
Yeah, so I think people want to hear, tell us some stories. Like what are some of the reactions that you get for some of the teachers when they come in, when they get their material? I mean, how grateful are they?
Well, the stories that I love, they're truly grateful. But the thing that is interesting for some of these teachers is they explain what we do to their students. So the students know what Teachers Treasures are, and then they know that there's people in this community that want to make sure those classrooms are taken care of. And those are beautiful stories of thank you notes that we get from children, and I think we've given you some of those as well over the years. But there's so much gratitude, and because and again, it's a tough job. So having them know that there's an advocacy for them, and we want them to stay in the job. And I think I've mentioned this to you before, that on average, teachers that start in this industry right now only stay teachers for 3 years.
Are you serious?
So
3 years. Wow.
Remember your old battle axe teachers that
Oh,
you had
yeah.
for 25 years? Like those
Yeah.
you didn't mess around with those guys because they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
3 years is nothing. And so we need those teachers to stay in this game longer. And I think part of our work with the store is just to let them know that this whole community is behind them and to stay in this industry and stay in this commitment in this career, because we need seasoned veteran teachers that can manage very, very challenging times. And these kids that are going through very different experiences than what we did when it comes to social media and all the stuff that's facing children right now of any age. But there's a tremendous amount of gratitude, and I
It's
think
good
it's
to know
important.
that. Well, before we let you get out of here,
Yep.
so we have a lot of listeners here on this podcast, which we're grateful
Mm-hmm.
for. How can they, if someone wants to donate, want to get involved, what do they need to do?
Well, there's a few ways. And so the first thing that's happened as a result of our conversation sometimes is, just like I mentioned with the Final Four, that there was excess product that was retained from an event. We take that product and the teachers will grab that for prizes and incentives for their children. We've received office furniture and office equipment that's gently used, but if you're upgrading or downgrading, our friend Brian Cook has taken care of us over the years and, done things that, again, they're upgrading. But we'll take gently used stuff all day long, every stapler, every hole punch, all those types of things.
Okay.
You want to do an engagement with your employees and you want to do a volunteer piece, come and stuff backpacks, come and stock our store, come and sort items for us.
So volunteers, they can come over and help do all that for you. Okay.
And that's where you really see it.
Okay.
You really get to hear the love of the teacher. I think that's really important. And you get to see it, how special this operation is. Money is always awesome, but truly, it is product, it is volunteerism, and then money in any of those capacities. But again, I always leave with this. Just, be an advocate for teachers. And whether it's your own children's teachers or somebody that's in your past like you have, to reach out and let them know that they're doing a great job or they did a great job, and just support teachers, I think, is the best we can do.
Well, Margaret, thank you for all you do for teachers and the lives that you're impacting. We love you to death, and you and your entire team, and it was so good. It just makes me feel good inside when I can present a check to you guys for a lot of money, thanks to so much help from so many people here in Central Indiana. And let's do it again next year. And let's raise more money for these teachers and these students, because I personally know the difference it can make in so many people's lives, especially these young people as they try to live out their dreams as
right. And that's such a tribute to you and the people that have benefited from it, and they know what your spirit and heart is. And so, I can't even, how do we express our gratitude to you, man? It's remarkable.
Happy to do it.
You're amazing.
Margaret Sheehan, the Executive Director of the Teachers Treasures, doing an incredible job. What a great time talking to Margaret Sheehan on AC's Conversations. A big thank you to her. And whatever you can do, folks, can donate, give back to our great community. I know the good folks over there, Teachers Treasures, as Margaret mentioned, would greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching this edition of AC's Conversations. Yep, we're back to talking sports and so much more coming up on the next edition. Have a good one, everybody.
Discover more at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to follow and subscribe to the AC's Conversations podcast and others on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Connect now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.